Welcome to One on One. I'm Greg Bassett from the Salisbury Independent newspaper, and today we're continuing our interviews with city council candidates in the city of Salisbury. Today we're on District 4. We've got Roger Mazzullo. Roger, welcome.
Hi, how you doing today, Greg?
So you are in a really interesting race to me because you are running against our current mayor, who's coming out of the mayor's office to run for city council. What's that like?
Well, it's interesting because a lot of people, I've been here in Salisbury for 23 plus years. I've decided I do business all over the United States. I decided to contribute a little, get back and help and work together with, the new mayor, Jake Day, is coming in. The city council, working together with everybody is the key to creating more business and jobs in Salisbury, which is what's important, and that's what should have been done in the last 6 years or so. There are things that competing against somebody that's well known like that is fine, because once they get to know Roger, they'll realize that I am going to be a good contribution to Salisbury.
So what's it like when you go out there and you try to get people to know who Roger is? Do they just want to talk about Jim all the time, Jim Ireton all the time, or do they want to talk about you or the issues?
No, they really want to talk about the issues. They don't want to talk about Jim. They want to talk about the issues. They want to know where I'm going to come into the picture and help out, which is based on all my experience over the years in sales and manufacturing. And I expect to bring a lot of business into Salisbury. I've talked to a woman one day. She said she's happy. She has a Food Lion supermarket. She's got a Giant supermarket, but she would like a different supermarket. Well, when I'm down in North Carolina talking to Harris Teeter, or I'm other places talking to other major chains, I don't mind saying to them they need to have a store in Salisbury.
Right, so you could be an ambassador that way.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, you've hit on jobs, and some of the other city council candidates have hit on jobs, and it's rare that a city role, usually they're talking about sidewalks and streets and taxes, garbage, but I hear lots of discussion about the economy and jobs. Why is it such a big issue in this election cycle?
Well, because that's a major thing today. If we can bring more jobs into Salisbury and get the new college students, when they're graduating college and have a job to go to, we'll keep them staying in Salisbury and not going to other places in the country. We need to create more things, and what will happen is once they have more jobs and better jobs, they'll be out the restaurants spending money and other places spending money, so it'll bring the whole area up in business, which is what we need, and it should have been done quite a bit.
Right. You mentioned the kids leaving town from the university. What can we do to stop the brain drain?
Well, what I think we need to do is to make all of the university students and everything feel that Salisbury is their home. When they graduate, we don't want them moving away. We want them to turn around, open their businesses, their great ideas, their innovations, and start to do their pride here. And I think if we make them feel like, if I have a university person that lives next door to me and next door to my house, I'm going to go over and say, hello, how are you? We're going to get to become friends and family. And that's where we need to create that situation in Salisbury, where it's always been like the university's over here and Salisbury's here. That isn't the case. We need to all work together so that they can contribute their great ideas, which they have in their dreams, and have their families and their children and continue to live in Salisbury.
It feels like the connections have improved a little bit, but you wonder if it's going to be sustained or not.
Well, it has, from what I understand of a lot of the stuff that's being done. Robert Sheehan has contributed a lot, and they're working together with everybody. Like down in the plaza, they opened up the Salisbury University apartments up there, where the kids can come and start their own businesses. They don't have to pay their rent to be in a big, an unbelievable amount of money to do business here in Salisbury. So that's a plus. That's a positive note there.
Right. District 4 is very interesting because it's the Newtown neighborhood. It is Johnson's Lake neighborhood. It's a real key Salisbury location. What are the challenges of representing a place like Newtown?
Well, basically, you have different groups. You have the low income, you have the middle income, and you have the high income areas along the whole District 4.
Yeah, all down
But
Division
but
Street.
I
Yeah.
believe you have to take care of everyone. Every part of that has to be the community leaders. I have to work together with them to get more ideas. I've been to a lot of meetings where they're talking about their concerns and things, which is what I want to hear, and then working with them. But I think when you make decisions that are the best, where everybody wins, then that's the important thing. Not just one group, but all the groups
Right.
win.
What are the concerns that you're hearing, and what do you want to do about them?
Well, what I'm hearing is when I was at a number of meetings about the curfew for the kids.
Right.
Well, I think it's important for there's two parts to that. There's part A and part B. The part A is having the curfew. I've met with Chief Duncan, and I've got some good ideas from the police chief, but we need to have a curfew so that kids aren't running around at the young age all night, 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night, getting into trouble. But then on the other side of the coin, on Plan B, we have to work with the communities to get more for them to do, not just they got to be able to get out and play basketball and football and baseball and have these things so that it keeps them happy, and doing what they should be doing. So there's two parts to that, and we're going to see. That's still in discussion.
Right.
Yeah.
When I think of that neighborhood too, especially Newtown, I think of code compliance issues and the big old houses that take so much to maintain them. Yet the city's right there, trying to police what goes on with those properties. Any thoughts about that?
Well, I think all the areas need to be taken care of, because if you have a house that keeps going down and down and getting more terrible looking, the whole neighborhood, the whole area becomes less. It becomes a slum then. What you need to do, and this is where I'm going to be listening to all the ideas that they have on the council and coming up with some ideas where we can help get these areas in better condition. That's important. You have to have a house that's livable, and everybody has to, when you walk down the street, you can't see one house that looks like a slum house and the next one looks fine. It's got to be.
Yeah, that's a challenge for a neighborhood when you've got those houses mixed in like that.
Oh, yes, it is, because the value all of a sudden drops down. The idea is to keep the value up. So there's a lot of things, but there again, with creating more new companies come in, new jobs, people will be making more, then you're able to do a lot of those things that they normally weren't able to do before.
Right. Economic development here has been handled a lot through the private sector, through the Salisbury-Wicomico Economic Development Committee, Commission, whatever it is, SWED, Development Corporation, right? So it's been a public-private partnership. The county executive right now, Bob Culver, is creating an economic development office where he's promoting it. But the city's not really involved the same way. There's a business development person who does stuff for small business, which is terrific. But what can the city do to try to get in with the county and get in with the public-private to grow businesses here?
Well, this is where you have to work together. This comes from working as a team, not separating and everybody doing it. The county, the city, the state, everybody has to kind of work together to come up with a plan that's the best one for everyone. And that's what I'll be talking about and doing. I've got some ideas too about incentives for business. To why should a company come into Salisbury? There's ideas I have.
Right. Downtown, big focus on downtown, growing and developing downtown. How's that look to you? What are the possibilities there?
Well, there was a number of positive things that I saw. They got some new restaurants like the Brick Room, the Brick Room Bar. They have the Moon Coffee Shop down on the plaza, and things are starting to get. But we need more. We need to add more, not even on the water down there. There needs to be more business brought in for the water, on the water area of downtown. So it keeps all the senior citizens and the young kids and the college students all coming to downtown to enjoy themselves. That's the idea of the whole thing. Right.
You've been here 21 years. How did you choose Salisbury as your home?
Well, I've been here about 24
years.
You were close. I decided, I had friends down here that were living over in Pocomoke, and I decided to move down, and I'm originally from the north up in New York. but I came down because I wanted to get out of the hustle bustle of a city like New York. You got to
Right.
be, that's kind of really just to get more laid back. And I've been doing well because 23 years ago when I came down here, I met my wife.
Oh,
So
terrific.
that's been good.
Right. There's sort of a come here, from here mentality, collision thing from time to time. But I've always thought that people from different areas bring in new ideas and new blood. Any thoughts about that?
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you 180%. When you come from areas like when it comes to the crime situation where they're having in the certain areas of the city in District 4 even, I understand all that stuff because I come from places where they had a lot of crime.
Right.
So I can contribute some ideas and how we can all help, and I'm open to ideas of the rest of the group, their ideas as well. So between all of us, we can come up with some ideas to reduce some of the crime, which is important.
Now, your opponent in this race, as mayor, just introduced a big measure about rental, controlling the price of rent control ordinance. Council did not act on it. They sort of entertained it briefly, but did not act on it. What's the issue with that? Are rents too high in the city? Is it something that you want to look at? Will you help pursue this, or is it dismissive? Where are you on that?
Well, I'm kind of still waiting to see the big process. There's discussion about rent control where somebody is paying $900 and they're going to be paying $150 or $200. I've got to see the whole picture of what's going to happen because a lot of times the person that says, oh, they're going to have a tremendous rent reduction, in the long run loses because what happens is the owners of all these rental properties can't invest the money. They're losing money with taxes and all kinds of maintenance to keep up the places. So what's going to happen? They're going to turn around and walk away, and then you won't have any more houses being built and more people coming in, and that's kind of a negative thing. That's where I'm just waiting to see the big picture. Actually, it was put on the side burner at this point.
Right.
But there are going to be more discussions on it, and I want to hear what positive notes they have for the areas where they're talking about rent control. I don't. Overall, I think it's a very tricky idea that is not going to. Everybody is not going to win-win, and that's where it becomes a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure I understand exactly where it's coming from. I mean, if it's just an analysis of the statistics or if there is a human need, because I'm not hearing that so much.
Well, I don't see that. The statistics are always, somebody will say something's 30% and it's really 40 or something.
Right.
There's always a lot of statistics, and I just think we have to look at the business point of it and say, well, okay, if the rent control helps a small group, but the problem is they're really going to be hurt, not helped. But that they have to understand that it's not going to help them in the long run. They're going to lose, and everybody's going to not be fixing their houses up, and it's going to become worse and worse and worse, and everybody's going to lose, even them.
Right.
So.
All right. I'm a District 4 voter, hypothetical. District 4 voter. I know Jim Ireton, known him for a long time. Don't know you.
Mm-hmm.
Why should I vote for Roger?
Well, basically, you should vote for me because I have some fresh and new ideas, and I have a very strong business sense of how to bring new jobs and companies into Salisbury. But the idea is to vote for somebody, everywhere in the country, politicians, I'm not a politician, they've been in and they've been around for years and years and years, and nothing ever gets done. I think they need some fresh ideas from a person like myself who understands business and understands how to make things happen. When I was with a chocolate company a number of years ago, I had the whole eastern side of the United States and in chocolate, and they told me, "Oh, you're never going to be able to win anything. You got Hershey and Nestle, and you're going to be competing against them." Well, I opened up every major account in the eastern side of the United States: grocery, drug, mass markets, club stores. Now they're the number 6 chocolate company in the United States.
Wow.
But it's because I don't give up, and I think people have to understand I'm going to do what's necessary for them, for everybody, so that everybody wins and we make Salisbury even greater today than it was.
He's Roger Mazzullo. He's running for City Council in District 4. Roger, thanks for coming today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the time, and I look forward to seeing everybody out there when I'm walking the streets and talking to everybody.
Good luck out
It'll be
there
great.
going door to door.
Yes, thank you.
Greg Bassett from the Salisbury Independent newspaper, another interview with a city council candidate right here on PAC 14.
First Shore Federal is proud to support PAC 14 and one-on-one. We'd encourage every business to support PAC 14 and pick a program and support it, and let's make a difference.